Good morning, everybody. Mestre Sukuri coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Mestre Vibes Patreon. Before anything, I want to welcome some fantastic new students. They just signed up here on Patreon on Familia, and they have full access to our Capoeira Academy. Brian, Brad, and Elena, welcome to the Capoeira Zoador family. Mestre Sukuri, I personally wanted to say thank you for coming and being with us. It was a fantastic class last night. And today I'm just going to be giving you guys a little bit of catch up here on what's been going on and what's coming on episode 41 of Mestre Vibes. First, last night I was teaching a class and 3 new students came, and it was so amazing. I really love getting back to basics and being able to pass on the capoeira that I've learned over the last 35 years to a new generation. And you guys just made my day yesterday. It was fantastic. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff coming up, and it is all thanks to you guys here on Patreon. Patreon supports a lot of what I'm doing, and I'm going to jump right into it. First and foremost, I'd like to say I'm also making a video with my new Insta360 Go 3, and it's recording right now as I'm doing this, and it's mostly, and I use the money from Patreon. It's a professional, action camera, and I will be using it to do a lot of new projects that I've wanted to, and it's been very difficult to use it to videotape things that I want to do because I only had my iPhone. The cost was about 70,000 yen, but I think it's going to pay for itself really fast and really soon. It's a fantastic little camera. The end of this month, we have the AU-a-thon that I'm welcoming all adults to also take part in. Mostly it'll be kids, and the kids will be doing 500 cartwheels to raise money that will not only go to the events that we do, but it'll help me to pay for upcoming events for the kids themselves. For example, we have the tournament next month for kids, and all the adults are welcome to come and be judges. Then we have next month on the 23rd, I have rented out the little cafe down the street, Cove Coffee Roasters, and we will be doing a capoeira jam session. What is a capoeira jam session? Basically, I'll organize and be like a conductor, and Paul, a professional musician that's a student here, also will come in, and we will guide students, and we will try to do a set of music that will let the students see what they can do when they focus just on the music. Not worried about are they going to play in the hall of this. So it's more of a jazz jam session. Everyone is welcome, and that will be on the 23rd at Cove Coffee Roasters down the street from the Academia. And that's also sponsored here by you guys, and I will be videotaping that. I will be recording that. Hopefully I could get a couple things more that I wanted, and I'll be able to record the audio, but also record the visual. So you guys will be able to have access to all of that as I'm doing that. Then in March, one of my favorite events of the year is the Kids Carnival. We did it a couple of years ago when Corona was going. The kids didn't really have a lot of opportunity to go outside and do things, so we made a local community carnival here. We called it a matsuri in Japanese, where I set up booths inside of the Capoeira Academia, and we had the kids come in, and they were able to play different games like knock down the cans, roll the dice, just a lot of different things that are fun for kids to do. And this year, because of your guys' support, I'll be able to do a lot more, and I'll be using also the money from the proceeds from the AU-a-thon for the kids to be able to do all of that. Okay, so we've got a lot of fun stuff coming in. I'm also hoping to secure the dates for the Korea trip this year, which you are all welcome to go. We've got a lot of people returning this year that took a break from capoeira, and we've got a lot of new students. Remember, Capoeira Zoador, guys, we are a family. Welcome everybody. Get involved, and let's have a lot of fun this year. Let's make it the best capoeira year ever. Now, I want to jump into more capoeira topics. Last night, I was talking to Mestre Vibes, and we talked for about, must have been an hour. And it made me laugh because I remember when I was a kid, calling home, you had to call at 3 in the morning because the rates were so expensive on calling when you call with the regular phone. And last night, we're talking and we're laughing and joking. And he goes, I remember when we had no access to a phone. So I thought that was pretty funny. We talked a lot about quality in capoeira. And there's two camps, and I think this is like something that I can understand myself doing a lot. When you become a professional in something, which I consider myself to be a professional in capoeira teaching, in capoeira world, I consider Mestre Vibes to be a professional. And this really, really impacts people because when you're a professional at something and you see somebody, how can I say, I don't want to say not being a professional, it really, really makes you reflect and think. And last night I was talking to Mestre Vibes, and he'd mentioned that somebody we know, it's like, how can that person be a master when they can't even play the beating bow? They can't even sing correctly, or, and you're a master. And it's like, there's always two sides, and the two sides, one side is always the try to get along, And I understand that side where people are like, well, each person is different. Some people have different abilities. Some people have different skills. Some people have different insights. I agree, but for me personally, from now on, I really see that people can do not as they please, but because I'm finally in a position where I can choose where I want to be. If I don't like something, I put myself in that situation. So I'm only going to be doing things that are very, very positive, very altruistic, very artistic, and very enjoyable, not only for me, but for people around me. I got a email, like sometimes I sit down and I shudder because I don't think you guys here on Patreon understand how much your emotional support really affects me. And if I speak from the artist part of who I am, it's a very powerful side because it's the very emotional, the very artistic, the very eclectic, the very passionate sukuri, the artist side. And I really felt that last time when I was talking to Mestre Vibes. He was speaking from that side of him. And I really understood it because I think when you're artistic, the level we are, that when we want to do things, we feel so much passion for it that it can actually negatively affect us if we let it to see other things done poorly, right? For example, someone sculpts a sculpture, and it's beautiful, it's got detail, and someone just kind of pats rocks together with no training, and they say, oh, this is a masterpiece. In real life, that doesn't happen. It really doesn't. It's not like in the movies where the underdog or where the person who with no skill gets, top billing. People really, analyze and think. And for me, I was talking to Contra Mestre Vaquero yesterday, and I was listening to a sample of his music, and I was just blown away. It was so well done, and it's not even a rough cut. And when that comes out, definitely I'll get you guys the link so you guys can support by getting involved with his new CD. I am someone who has a taste of how I like things. His voice was beautiful, much better than mine. His pronunciation, fantastic. He's a German person teaching capoeira for many years. And the music, and they put guitar in it, and I'm a very big fan of his, and I'm really looking forward to the new CD. But then again, you'll have people who criticize what he's doing, but are useless at what they do. In my experience, most people who criticize about something, especially in capoeira, are people who aren't doing anything or lack the ability to do anything. So we need to step back, and for me, in my how I am at this point in my life, I just want to do positive things, and I'm going to move forward. That one of my instructors, Apito, said, that somebody had mentioned, like, I'm very headstrong, and I know what I want to get done, and I'm focused on that. And if people don't like it, they can, not be involved. Isn't that the base of professionalism? You've got to get things done. You've got to get things done in a clean, professional way. And many people will say, well, people have different ways of doing things. There are different ways of doing things professionally with different personalities, but it should still be professionally done. And calling something like it's by saying it's okay for people who are doing it, and people who are so passionate, like myself, Mestre Boagente, Mestre Acordeon, Mestre Linguiça, we are so passionate about what we do that it's like, I guess it's like, let's put it this way. Let's say you work in IT and you're working on an incredibly big software project that's going to affect, people for millions and millions, or even, hundreds of millions of dollars. The pizza guy walks in and says, oh, let me try, and does it. And he doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing. He shouldn't be there doing anything but, I'm a gamer. And this is not the movies where some guy's in like a genius 1 out of 1 billion. Good Will Hunting is a great movie, but that's not real life. The pizza guy's not going to come in and blow everybody's mind away. It's the dedication, the research, the study, the hard work, everything that you put into it that makes you who you are. And people might say, like, hey, but people have different ways. I agree. People can have different ways of doing different things, but so many people come into capoeira world, and because they want to get along instead of be strong, they let anything pass. They forgive anything that's not up to par. And a lot of times what I find, especially in Asia, is people don't know the quality. People don't know how to recognize what good is because they've never had exposure to it. Especially now with social media, you get so much stuff. Just because somebody got 10,000 likes doesn't mean it's good. People get 100,000 likes, 1 million likes when they do bad things. Guys, the end of the day, like if I'm doing something and Mestre Boagente says, hey, look, here I'm reaching out to you because I know you're open to stuff. What about this? And I listen. Mentorship, again, coming back to mentorship. You've got to ask your masters, the people in your life, your mentors, how am I doing? How can I improve? Don't worry. I'm open to information. And what I see is so many people can't be told, can't even be recommended what's wrong. So officially, I'm stopping. Unless someone asks me, I'm just gonna mind my own business and have fun and do my own things. That includes traveling, loving capoeira, enjoying. I'm planning to do several trips this year, especially in Asia. I've got a friend who I love dearly. Contra Mestre Disco knows him well, and my wife knows him well. David, you're in Taiwan. You're one of my biggest fans. I love you with all my heart. I'll be there soon to visit you, and hopefully I can set something up with Tommy. Then I'm coming to Korea. All of the people in Korea, be ready because I'm coming and I'm coming strong. I've been training. I'm getting back in shape. I'm rehabbing. I'm feeling good. I've got my little media thing. Guys, I feel so successfully rich. Like when I was a kid, guys, I love telling this story. When I was a kid, if you could get a videotape of capoeira, those things were expensive, $50. And if you could learn one move from that, just one move, then it was awesome. It was like, wow. I learned one move, and you thought that was like going to a workshop, and for a whole weekend I learned one move. Now people just pick the easiest move, no connection, they don't understand what they're doing, and they just put it together, and people are basically breakdancing. And And I had mentioned this in the last podcast. There's a lot of conversation in Portuguese in Brazil about these kind of topics now. And I'm hoping that through this podcast and what I do, I could, put that out there for you guys as well, because it's important that you guys grow in capoeira. And we as masters and instructors, we need to give not only sugar. We can't give you guys just cookies, because capoeiras, the C may stand for cookies, but the P stands for pow. Stands for, you gotta. I really believe a capoeirista is like a strong tree, or like a bush, like a tree. It needs to have bad weather to become stronger, but it doesn't mean it needs to suffer the bad weather. Does that make sense? If you grow the capoeira tree well, then you'll be able to each new challenge will make you stronger and build you, and you'll be able to survive each and all of those. But you need to be open to listening to people who have experience, good experience. Here's another thing, right? Just because someone's older doesn't mean that they learned from their experience. But you can see by a person's actions. And I'm ready to be judged at any time. Guys, if you guys have a question for me, if you guys want to ask me something, if you guys want to jump on me, go for it. I'm ready to be judged because I've put the time in for self-improvement, and I'm still open to more self-improvement. And it's just a process of life, but we all got to be open and we all got to move forward. As I mentioned, I never put social before capoeira. Capoeira first, capoeira second, capoeira last, and then what's outside of that is where I want to be. It's like you've got the roda, the people in the roda, and then you got people who are walking around the world. Those people walking around the world, if I can interact with them in a positive and healthy and spiritual and philosophical way and be a good mestre and a good human being, fantastic. But capoeira is capoeira. And I really feel fantastic because I want to push so hard this year to have the best year I've ever had. I'm drinking my coffee as I do this because it's so good. Out of my Capoeira Zoador mug. So if you're going to look at the video, you can see it later. The other thing I want to get into is just, again, like how many good things are going to happen this year and how many things I hope to do. I'm hoping to get to travel more, and mostly it's because the biggest challenge for me is, I told Mestre Vibes last night when I was talking, when you have a successful academia, when you've built something, it's really hard to travel. He really wants me to come to Brazil this year. He was joking, saying, I want you to come to Brazil, but I don't want to do any capoeira. I just want to be with you and travel with you. And sit there at cafes and drink coffees. And I was like, I call him Pai, which means like father. And he's like my adopted capoeira father. I've told you guys a million times I love him to death. And he's like, we work so much, there's so much. He goes, he just wants to enjoy being together. And I said, that's such a blessing that I have that connection. If you guys didn't know, maybe I haven't mentioned this. Recently, when I order like calças for the kids, I order from Bahia. And it's always Mestre Vibes who at any moment will get anything together for me. And this is something we talk about a lot, like padrinho. What's a padrinho? A padrinho is someone who's like a godfather or godmother, padrinha to your group. And Mestre Vibes is somewhere between, I would say more. So originally he was a mentor. Now he became a mentor, padrinho, mentor, godfather. And now, because, the blessings that I have from him and everything, he's more of a padrinho, my mentor, padrinho, but almost like he's my father figure in capoeira, and he's just amazing. I love listening to him yell at me. I love listening to him yell about other things. I love listening to him talk passionately, beautifully, sharing his expression. And I think there's a lot of things he says that I feel I'm lucky that I'm privy to, because he feels that trust in my level. And he always says, you can say whatever you want. You can use my name for anything you want. He says, you can bring me whenever you want, whatever you want. I'm here for you, my son. And I'm always like, wow, I love it. And I always think, I've mentioned this before, but since the beginning of the pandemic, Contra Mestre Disco, my wife and I, we've been sending support money to pay for his monthly rent at the Academia since the beginning of the pandemic, and we continue to do so now. Part of this Patreon money and part of my thing. So Patreon is part of everything I do, but part of that goes directly to Mestre Boa Gente. Guys, you know what I'll do? I'll ask him to take pictures of his Academia, and I'll post them here so you guys know exactly what we're also indirectly. You guys are helping me to support Mestre Boa Gente. It's not that much every month, but it's enough to pay for the basic rent because his Academia is in a favela, or well, not favela, but we call it it's the ghetto area of Bahia. Mostly really poor people in Bahia, in one of the poorest states in Brazil. And we pay for that every month, and I'm happy to say, and I want to share it with you. I don't usually talk about it, but I think it's important so you guys know that, some of the money that you guys send here, I do that. Which leads me to talk about something I really want to get involved with, and it's all because of you guys. You guys help a lot with the production of everything I do, but because of that production and inspiration that you guys give me, I'm able to do a lot more. And one of the big things I want to start doing is there's a new, not a new charity, but it's a charity in Madagascar. It's run by he's not run, but it's associated with one of my old students who's actually a plastic surgeon. For some reason, he told me there's a genetic disposition in Madagascar for cleft lip. That's when you're born and the lip isn't there's like a cut in it. I'm not sure how to explain it, but he does cosmetic surgery at a volunteer project. And in the future, I'm hoping to get more and more involved with it. And a lot of that has to do with you guys and a lot of what we do here. I take $100 from here, $200 make an event, and we're able to send maybe $1,000 of the proceeds of what money raised directly to him in the future. And it's funny because he said it's actually really cheap for a couple $100. They can, one child can get their whole life changed. And I'm going to get some pictures, if I can, of that too. I don't know how to connect with that because transferring money from Japan as an American to over there, but maybe my wife can, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. What I want to say is you guys are part of something super positive, it's not just me you guys are supporting. Like I said, this is like my NPO, budget. You guys are not only supporting me, but you guys are supporting Mestre Boa Gente in Bahia. You guys are going to be supporting the different projects that I get involved with. And it's all thanks to you guys. Just wanted to keep you guys together and going forward. Mestre Sukuri, Mestre Vibes, Tokyo, Japan. If you have any questions, hit me up. Lots of love, lots of peace, and lots of capoeira.